Welcome back, guys, and today we are looking at Trigger from Valaverse's Action Force. Now, this character has been around a while, I think since Series 1 or Series 2, but I kept skipping on him because for me, he really wasn't that interesting. He's just a dude in army camo, and I know some people like that, but to say he's their favorite, I just never understood why, so I thought, let me go ahead and get this figure and, add him to the ranks. But he is a cool figure. It's just looks-wise, he just kind of looks like a dude. Like, in some ways, he looks like the dude. In other ways, he just looks like a guy that you would see at the bar. So, I think for most people, maybe it's because he has a familiar look. Maybe that's why he's a favorite. But even with my G.I. Joe, I weigh more heavily into the fantasy. So, I like bright colors on the shelf. So I do have a place for those Joes and Action Force characters that have more of that authentic military look. So he'll probably go there. But I just want to see what the big deal was. And honestly, I probably didn't even have to buy this figure. I probably could have just bought this head pack, because this is what prompted me to buy Trigger. So I really like that head sculpt, and I think I'm going to use that in probably not in my Action Forces G.I. Joe display. I'll explain later, but there's some heads here we can use too with some other figures, but I really only bought it for that alternative head. So I just pulled out a few figures off the shelf just to kind of show where my tastes lie, and it lives more either heavily in that fantasy or that civilian or that post-apocalyptic kind of style. So Bone Collector, I think, looks fantastic, and then him and Pandora fit perfectly with your Dreadnoughts or on their own little display. But to me, those are kind of like your Road Warriors, your kind of apocalyptic figures. And then Condor, I mean, just having a figure in everyday clothing, I think for me is a top seller. So I love this guy. I am saving my action points. I don't really want the bloody variant of Pandora. I think this one's perfect. And when it comes to the fantasy stuff, I mean, I do love the pink, the supported breast cancer figure. I think this one came out really cool. It's different. I haven't seen anything like that. I flew to Connecticut just to get that guy. So I'm a fan of the line. It's just the fantasy. That's what I like. The military, I'm trying to learn. But what I found is that I can use a lot of these military figures in a lot of scenes as like background characters. Maybe the X-Men are coming in and the military is trying to fight off some enemies. But even a character like the Swarm Tracer, I wish that I did a review on this guy. I bought 3 of these, and I don't often buy many of the same character. This year I bought a lot of army builders, but this guy is fantastic. This might be one of my favorite characters in my display, and it is the best glow-in-the-dark figure that I think I've ever owned. And I'll show you that in a second. So I have this 3000 lumen flashlight, and you just hit him with a bunch of light. And this, like I said, is some of the best glow in the dark that I've ever seen. So let's see, I'll turn that light off now. I mean, man. So this is where my taste lies. Fantasy, sci-fi. But this character seems to be everyone's favorite, so we're gonna get him out of the box. Check him out. Alright, so the Action Force figures are starting to come in a card back blister. So this is the new packaging with kind of that digital motif on the side. See everything we get some weaponry, hands, and then you do get a cell shot of all the figures that have come out. Now, I think I've only gotten Colonel Siege. I might pick up Atlas or Sidewinder somewhere along the way. Senshi, I'll probably skip. Have enough ninjas and samurais. But I always cut out the file card and the points. I have so many of these. Like I said, I'm passing up on the new Pandora, but I'm going to collect those action points and see what else comes out in the future. So let's go ahead and crack him out of the package. This is how he pretty much comes. And looking at the face sculpt, he has a pretty tight, trimmed beard. So I guess his beard game is pretty good. He has a tattoo with his name on it. Pretty cool. I believe these are all removable with Action Force figures, and I think that's also kind of why I wanted him. I wanted to take this off and just have him as a civilian, so I'll probably do that. And then he does have some pretty nice camo on his pants, so pretty cool. He has a gun in the holster there, and then he has some other pockets and pouches. So looks wise, again, aesthetically it's not the most interesting figure in my collection, but I think he'll serve as a great kind of background generic soldier or civilian. Now, articulation's always pretty good on these guys. You got a hinge at the shoulder, you got a bicep swivel, double jointed elbows, pinless, and then you do have a hinge at the wrist, and all the hands have different hinges depending on what it is. Got some rotation at the waist, and there is an ab crunch, but with the, I think with this on, it'll kind of be hindered, so we can get that off in a bit. Then they do have drop down legs like all the figures, double jointed knees. Everything's pretty good too. I didn't have to heat anything up, which is nice. And then you do have a hinge at the ankle, and there's a rocker. So, you know, all the things you would expect in modern day articulation. I think Action Force has that going pretty well. Now for accessories, you do get 3 extra sets of hands. You get fisted hands, tight grip hands, and then you get some open palm hands. Other accessories, he does come with a headset. Let's see, just pop that on right there. That fits pretty well. And like I said, I'm not a military guy, so I can't tell you the name of guns. So when I get an action figure, it comes with a little gun or a hand pistol. I don't know if this is based in reality or if this is strictly made for the line, but there's a port there, so if you wanted to put a blast effect, you could. And that fits right in his holster. Then you do get the larger gun, the rifle, and it comes with the stand, so that's cool. And that can just go back. Oop, I guess the ammo box does come off, and then those bullets can just be placed right there. So pretty neat. Get him equipped with that. So I mean, as far as generic soldiers go, this guy's cool. I mean, I don't like the look of the head sculpt. That's just me, but he is everyone's favorite. But I am going to make this character a little more interesting with this head pack that I got. And, you know, I really only got it for that. I could use the Arctic Trooper gas mask and the officer. I think it says the officer on the back. Steel Brigade Commander and Arctic gas mask. So I can use those two. I skipped on these Swarb Scarabs just because I was waiting for a black and green option, and I'm glad I did because I got those sweet glow-in-the-dark ones. Still probably would want to pick up a rollout, and I'm missing some of these other characters. So, ew, and you do get some action points, so that's sweet. So I'll cut those out. Let's go ahead and get Trigger's head out of there and swap them out. Alright, so here's your more neutral, stoic face, which is fine. Again, I don't think this is too interesting. He just looks like a dude. Kind of looks like generic dude that you put in like a group of mercenaries in a movie. They always kind of have one that looks like him. But I think you swap it out with this head sculpt, and he becomes a little more interesting. So I'm gonna pop this on, see how it looks. You know, sometimes head swaps are a little tough with these figures, so alright. Bye to the neutral face, and let's go ahead and get this head on. Yeah, I think that looks way cooler. Way more interesting. Yeah, he looks angry. Maybe like that screaming uncle at the Thanksgiving dinner table. But I know what I'm going to use this guy for, and it's not going to be in my Action Force or G.I. Joe display. Really, what I want to do, I think he would look good with a few X-Men. So I have some ideas. I'll kind of break out some characters and show you what I want to do. You know, I feel like every introduction into Wolverine, he's sitting in a bar, and there's 2 dudes that come up to him and bother him. You know, tell him to get out. Not your kind. I feel like that'd be really cool to set up a scene where I have like probably my only 2 open-faced screaming characters, you know, come up from behind Wolverine, tell him to get out of the bar. I think they look great for that. What I would also like to do is maybe make some signs for these two guys that say "No More Mutants" and stick them in my Sentinel display. I think that would be pretty cool, because I think that's the first thing I thought when I saw this guy. I could use him in my mutant display with like a picket sign. So I probably won't have this guy in my Action Force display, but you don't often get screaming expression characters. So I've always kind of wanted to fill that out with some civilians, and I know he's kind of in military gear, but I'll take this off of him. I think those signs will be easy to make. Just get some balsa wood and some hardstock paper, print "No More Mutants" on it, and now I have some civilians angry in the crowd. So there we go. I think he's set for a rally now. He does look cool this way. I think taking this off kind of gives him some more character. I think this face sculpt, I wish the character would have just came with the head sculpt in the first place, but I'll find some uses for those extra heads. I'll definitely swap out some of those Arctic heads, but he does look cool now. I think now it gives him a little more personality, but he does look a little angry, an angry man. So yeah, look at him in my X-Men display and set him up. So that's it, guys. Just a quick unboxing of Trigger here. Still a great action figure. I think he looks cool. I think he looks way cooler with that head sculpt versus this. But yeah, I think it adds some personality to the shelf, and you can use him in different ways. So like I said, I'm going to use him in my X-Men display. Maybe make some picket signs for him, No More Mutants. Pair him up with this other screaming guy that I haven't had much use with. I think they'll look good there. So yeah, more to come. Maybe I'll show you how I just make those signs. That's nothing hard. Probably doesn't need a whole video, but yeah. Hope you like this episode, guys. And I'm going to be, I think this is the last figure that I have in the mail for a while. So now I can really start focusing on some projects that I've been meaning to do. I definitely have some diorama ideas that I've been kind of toying with for a long time, and it's time to start building. So just want to get a few of these action figure unboxings out there, and now that I'm done, that's it. I can get to work, and hope you all have a great weekend. And until the next episode, we'll catch you next time.